You know things, I know some too. Sit right down, the Femsplain 'em to you. If there's a thing you wanna explain, these two feminists can entertain. Nerdy stuff, sexy stuff, so much to know. Tune in for the Femsplain Show.
Welcome to Femsplain, Diana.
Oh, welcome to Femsplain to Avalon.
How you doing?
I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little on the tired side, but I figure, you know, that's still, if that's like my biggest complaint, I'm still doing pretty good.
That's fair. I remember our first episode we ever recorded, and I think you fell asleep during recording it because we got so carried away that we recorded for 5 hours.
We did. We recorded. Do you remember the time that we tried to watch a movie together and I just fell asleep in front of the TV screen?
I was all in the same month. Yeah, I got to see you fall asleep sitting upright in your computer chair like 2 times in the same. That was when 2 weeks.
We tried to do a double feature. We did Rocky Horror Picture Show and something else back to back, which now we know is too much for a 10 p.m. Diana.
It's true. We were on a roll, and I think we had both been drinking, and we were like, let's just keep recording podcast episodes. Do you remember what the second one was? Are you not saying it on purpose? Because I remember what it was.
Well, because there are 2 that we discarded.
Oh, you're right.
And I don't remember which one is that one, but I think I know.
I think it's the phone-related one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it is too.
Okay.
I'm not saying it because I would love to talk about it again because I feel like it's always just like right under the surface for me.
I was wondering like why we weren't saying it. Are we embarrassed of it or we're just saving it?
So welcome to Femsplained.
Welcome to Femsplained.
What is this that we're doing?
Femsplained is a girls-only clubhouse podcast in which 2 queer femme human beings named Avalon and Diana have chosen to educate one another on the things that they feel excited about.
But that does not mean that people of every gender and non-gender can't listen, laugh, and learn with us. The learning is optional.
Yep.
Questionable at times.
Yep.
And so we're just happy you're here with us.
Yeah. We just think it's important to make this space, occupy this space, and if you consent to listening to it, that is your prerogative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have a fun topic for you. Well, not we. Avalon has a fun topic because
we have a fun topic.
Last week was my turn to Femsplain all about my favorite childhood thing, which was Sonic the Hedgehog. And so this week it is Avalon's turn. But before we get to that, Avalon, what has nerd culture done for you lately?
Nothing. You take the whole segment this time.
So, yes, nerd culture and I have gone on a new adventure. So I've started to venture into professional GMing, which is something that I've done in the sense that I've been GMing at conventions, GMing at gaming events and nonprofit events, and GMing as a Twitch affiliate. However, I am now bringing that up to the next level and doing GMing for hire on a personal level, professionally here in my local community in New York City. I'm doing that. I'm also commissioning custom maps and custom minifigure painting as well.
Oh, cool.
So all of those things are things that I have now started to advertise officially and have started taking my very first commissions with under the name Adventures Wanted on Facebook. So if you search that, you should find it, but we'll, blast it all over the Femsplained accounts as well.
Yeah. Solid name, I think, by the way.
Thank you. I was really happy with it, actually.
Yeah. Well, I think that's super cool. If you have ever experienced Diana leading a game, please leave her a review on her Facebook page.
Oh my God, I got so many and they're so good. And they made me cry a lot today.
Good. You deserve them all.
Especially just like the ones that are the most important are the ones from people who never played D&D before or like any tabletop game and like played with me for the first time, and that's like a huge
I feel
deal.
like it's very clear that the ones that are most important are the ones that I wrote.
Okay, so besides the one that you wrote.
Yeah, mine isn't the one that made you cry, which, like, you know, whatever, but it's fine.
Avalon, you make me cry all the time.
Yeah.
If that's important to you.
It's my favorite thing that I can do.
I want you to know that you make me cry so frequently.
All right. I guess I can handle that.
Okay.
So anyway,
yeah.
if you live in the, New York area and you want to hire someone for a one-shot?
Yeah. A one-shot, I am going to stay away from campaigns in that regard for now, but mostly for one-shots, and it's all ages and multiple different systems that you can choose. You can choose to run a straight module or something original by me, which is totally fine. You will get your pre-made character sheets. You will have a table full of colorful hand-painted miniatures. You will have homemade battle maps, and it will be a fully written adventure for whatever your group needs. So whether it's kids, in which case if they want to get into D&D, D&D is a kids game after all. But if they're on the younger side and you think the violence of D&D might be too much for them, I also am going to be running power outage games as well, which is specifically designed to be kid friendly and has a bent toward non-conflict driven resolutions.
I have not played, and I did not know that.
Yeah,
but I like
it has the option for combat, but it really, really rewards creative problem solving. It's definitely meant for younger audiences to build that strength and that, that skill. So
whoever made that up must be a good-hearted person.
He is, and his name is Bibars El Tayyib, and he is amazing, and his book is amazing.
Cool. Go buy it. But don't run it. Go buy it and then hire someone to run it. Named Diana.
Me.
Nice. Well, I think that's a really cool initiative. That's not a gig service that I was aware of being a thing necessarily, but I think it makes total sense. And I think it's really cool you're doing that. I would like to assume that means the market isn't too saturated.
It's not, but it does look like it's kind of like picking up a little bit. It was like in New York City about 2 years ago, there was one guy. Yeah. And he wore like a full set of armor, and there's nothing against that, but like, there's one person, and I just, I want to, especially because I do want to introduce tabletop gaming to younger people. I want to be like a person that's kind of friendly to multiple different kinds of audiences, and maybe that people wouldn't feel uncomfortable bringing into their home. And I really hope that, my background in healthcare and my background teaching theater to kids with developmental disabilities and all of those kinds of umbrellas with that, I was hoping might make this a good, well-rounded
that's so
place
cute.
For me.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't really thinking about little kids, but my ovaries really like this idea.
Well, it is really proven to help harness creative problem solving, positive socialization skills, and collaboration and cooperation. And in younger kids, it's something that really harnesses those behaviors, and especially if you have kids who are neurodivergent in any sort of way, socializing with a structure, like a game, like that is hugely helpful to developing those skills. So it has a lot of proven good qualities.
Well, I don't mean cute in sort of like a condescending way when I say it. I think that's adorable.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I think that I have a tendency for my tone of voice to make it sound like I'm being insincere sometimes when I'm nice. But that's so sweet. So cool. Well, then, yeah, especially if you've got some kiddos and they're looking to have like a birthday party or something, or like you're new into Critical Role and it's kind of intimidating and you want to try out a one-shot. I think that's a really cool business model, and I am looking forward to seeing where that goes for you.
Me too. Yeah, hopefully that I'd be happy if I get to introduce it to even a few people. So
yeah,
it'd be great. So I'm really excited. I want to hear about your topic, but before we can get into that topic, I need someone with like an excessive amount of testosterone and an unearned sense of pride to come in here and tell me what you're about to talk to me about.
Oh, thank God.
In a mansplain minute, everything's explained. In a mansplain minute, tell the ladies what to say. In a mansplain minute.
Putting 1 minute on the man watch and go. Powerpuff Girls. Black. What was it about the 90s and the early 2000s where they just wanted to shove girl power into everything, you know? There just had to be representation of girls in nerd culture. You know what that got us? Ms. Marvel. Wonder Woman, the worst of the DCU movies. Rey in The Force Awakens. Leia floating through space. Mary Sue's. Mary Sue's. The world's just full of Mary Sue's now, and I'll be honest, y'all. I'm really out of practice. It's been a long time between Femsplaining episodes. My satire game is not on, and I took a melatonin. It's been a long 2 weeks. I've been traveling a lot. I'm just not 100% at this right now. So this has been your Mansplain Minute.
Okay, so that was whatever that was. And
we don't know.
We don't know. Who knows? I could find out 3 weeks from now. But Avalon.
And you'll all find out 6 months from now.
I love it. We have a great business model going on here at Femsplained. So, Avalon, you're going to tell me all about the Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah. I feel like I've kind of been hinting at this episode for a while. Yeah, I am.
Gee.
Powerpuff Girls were a larger part of my life than like you might think they should have been or would have been.
Yeah, I feel like you saying that this is a long time coming is the least long time coming thing I've ever heard in my life. I have no idea about this part of your life at all.
I've hinted a couple times in other episodes. It's totally fine. You don't remember. Powerpuff Girls completely replaced Sailor Moon for me in the almost the exact moment that I wasn't allowed to like Sailor Moon anymore. It was like, what the fuck is the difference, right?
Right.
But it was socially acceptable for some reason in my...
It was?
Middle school, high school, a little too old.
High school.
Little too old.
High school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was so fucking into the Powerpuff Girls, Diana. I don't know where to start with this episode is basically where it is.
Okay, could you start with telling me, because this is really exciting to me, because most of the topics, like even the ones... I think Saga is the last time you did a topic that I literally had no awareness of whatsoever.
How do you have no awareness of it?
I mean, all right, so I know that it exists. Like, I've seen pictures of them, but I've never watched a single episode.
How?
I've just never done it.
It was huge.
It passed me. It just passed me. I was probably playing Sonic the Hedgehog games or something, but whatever it was, it totally missed me. I literally don't even know what it's about So if you could just give me
My heart is
to
racing.
start, I know, just tell me what it is even about.
Okay, here's what it's about. A completely non-sexually threatening middle-aged male scientist is experimenting to make the perfect little girls. And that's why I led with what I led with.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
good. No, go ahead.
With the ingredients, sugar, spice, and everything nice, as the saying goes. But in the process of mixing all these things together, he accidentally spilled some chemical X in there, and it created 3 little superheroes that are fucking queer feminist icons.
Wait, okay.
Slash
Wait. We're going to have to...
babies.
Yeah, because they look like... That's what I was going to say. We have to pause because they look like
They're
infants
like
in the
elementary
picture.
school students.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
So you've got the empath one. You've got the, like, tough, short-tempered one. And you have the slightly egotistical, brainy leader one.
So you have the charmed ones.
Yeah, it's also the charmed ones.
It's the charmed ones.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, so are they each supposed to be made of one of the sugar, spice, and everything nice?
That's what I think.
Your smile tells me yes.
It's not, so I don't think that this is directly addressed, but I will say in the opening intro, when there's like a shot of him adding sugar, spice, and everything nice, it's like black and one dominant color, and it's like, they're very color associated. Like,
Right.
The blue, pink, and green are very pervasive for each character, so I think that there's like a subtle hint there. I struggle with who is everything nice and who is sugar. Because I feel like that good for the empath character and like the leader character, it could be either. Because the empath character is also like baby spice.
Right. Which, I mean, on the surface sounds like everything nice, but I don't know what their actual personality is.
Yeah.
So, okay. So he creates...
The Powerpuff Girls.
The Powerpuff Girls. Do they have... I'm assuming they have magic powers of some kind, right?
They have superpowers.
They have superpowers.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the show progresses, there's not a strong story arc because the target audience really was a bit younger. But I will stand by the fact that I feel like a lot of the themes and jokes were very adult, which is not uncommon for cartoons.
No. Especially when we were kids, too.
Right, exactly. So they do have... So there's, like, any kind of, like, slight chronological development where it's not, like, just freestanding episodes. They do start to specialize powers a tiny bit. But for the most part, they're all super strong and they can all fly.
Okay. And so, scientist man, I'm assuming... Does he, like...
His name's Professor Utonium.
Okay. Is Utonium a thing? Is that like a chemical of some kind that like is
In real life?
persistent in the world? No, in like the
No. That's just
in the
his
narrative.
Name.
No,
No, that's just his name.
Okay, so does Professor Utonium like stay with? Is he like Bosley to the Powerpuff Girls?
He's not like Bosley. He's like their dad. He becomes their dad. Like their single, sad, lonely dad.
Oh, wait, because they're not like... These are not like girls he experimented on. These are like he created them in a lab.
Yeah, and it's a little unclear why he created them. He just was. But then he has a very healthy relationship as a single parent with 3 daughters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's great. It's fucking pure.
Okay. So okay. So that clears that up. I don't know what I thought, but I didn't know any of that.
This is all addressed in the 30-second episode, the intro to every show.
All right. So then what I want to know, I guess, is that what is the Powerpuff Girls to you?
I'm having a really hard time connecting the dots for why it became such a thing for me. I think I just genuinely thought it was very funny. I know that new episodes premiered every Friday night, and that was like my thing. It like became the new like TGIF kind of for a later stage of my life, if TGIF was a thing for you. And I think I just genuinely thought it was funny. It also coincided for me, like I said, with this void left by Sailor Moon, and this wasn't a conscious thing, but subconsciously, and not only the rise, so for me in my life, the rise of the internet and my access to it and the rise of Sailor Moon complemented each other because it was like, this gives me a reason to be online and to community build online.
Oh, sure. Mm-hmm.
But
and to create content and stuff. Yeah.
But it was still, we're still talking like dial-up, right? But this Powerpuff Girl thing comes about when like suddenly the internet is such that you don't have to worry about asking your parents because it's not taking up a phone line anymore. And you're old enough that your parents aren't like really supervising you on the internet anymore, even though maybe they still should be. So I was
I'm
able to
afraid about where this is going.
Right. Well, no. Fortunately, weirdly, no. But like,
okay.
I was able to like sit down on a computer and just like sit there for 5 hours without my parents yelling at me, and to direct that energy into Powerpuff Girls fandom was like an outlet that made sense at the time.
Yeah.
Because there was a really good web presence for it. You know, I can say that I was genuinely into the Powerpuff Girls, just in terms of, I think, thinking it was cute, for sure, thinking it was funny, liking the different story arcs, had some really good villains is part of it. Like you're really excited to see which villain is happening this week, because some of the core villains, like, are really, really entertaining, I'll say. I was going to say likable, but it's not that. But you just, like, actually really want to see some of the villains. Because they're funny in very specific different ways. Every once in a while, you're getting an episode that gives you, like, some backstory, which is, like, kind of weird for a American cartoon. And it's usually pretty solid. So I got way too involved in one particular forum that was a Powerpuff Girl fan forum, which was called rowdyruff.net.
Wow. Okay. I'm afraid. But I love it.
The webmaster, the person who paid to host the whole thing, name on there was King Moonrazer. I remember that. In hindsight, I feel weird about King Moonrazer. At the time that I discovered rowdyruff.net, it had been a thing for a little while. It had like an established core group. And the homepage, you always got there, and there was a piece of fan art with like people's custom avatars in the Powerpuff Girls style, and it said like, King Moonrazer is on a hiatus. He'll get back to your emails eventually. But for like the 2 years that I was super involved in it, he never came back. But he kept the lights on.
Oh, good. Okay.
And, you know, it was always fine. So you go to the website, and there would be like a little tab you would click, and it would say like fan artists. And it would have, I want to say like maybe 12 featured fan artists where you would have all of their pictures that they had drawn. And it would be pictures of Powerpuff Girls, of the Rowdy Ruff Boys, and of the people on the forums in their Powerpuff Girl avatar form. And it became my greatest goal in life to be one of these people that was featured on the fan artists page, who had their own page. I never stopped. I never grew out of that. I was obsessed.
Still my yeah.
And then I brought one of my, it was like 8th and 9th grade, so whatever, middle to high school. Showed it to one of my friends who got super into it with me, and we both just started drawing non-stop Powerpuff Girls all the time. And then there was also a forum page where there were a lot of great artists, there were a lot of regulars, but those people that were on the fan artist page were like gods to us all. And some of them weren't as good as the people who had come before, but because of King Moonrazer's disappearance, and there was no updates to the fan artist page, they were this echelon that we could not touch.
Oh my God. This is like Greek mythology.
Yeah, so there was like this very weird power dynamic, but like in the forums themselves, mostly weren't talking about Powerpuff Girls. Like mostly it was like there was some fanfic that wasn't Powerpuff Girl related. There was a lot of just like talking about real life or talking about other things you like and things like that. It was like a very active nerd forum for like young teenagers in a super safe, non-threatening way. People weren't like shitty, but they were like pretty smart and articulate. And it was like really, really great early 2000s internet forum community. But the fucking goal was when King Moonraiser came back, all of the fan art you would have posted on the forum would impress him enough that you would be in the next round of fan artists.
Oh my God.
It was so intense. One of the people on there made a video game, which at the time did not seem possible, of like sprite versions, like a little Chrono Trigger type like video game of sprite versions of like VIPs on the forum. And it was just so intense to want to be one of the fucking popular kids.
Trying to impress a person who doesn't even exist.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know where the fuck he went. I also don't know why he chose that name, but it totally ruined the Rudolph
What was the
claymation
name
movie
again?
for me. King Moonracer, which is the name of that weird Pegasus lion on the Island of Misfit Toys in the Rudolph claymation movie.
I really wish that movie would die. I
don't have a problem with that movie, but I will never disassociate it from the Powerpuff Girls now.
Yeah, I just don't. Well, I have thoughts on it, but I have opinions about that movie. But independent of my opinions of that Rudolph movie, this guy, I want to know where he is now.
So, when you and
my
I
God.
first started podcasting...
Oh my God.
This is not going to be as satisfying as you want it to be. And it occurred to me that one day I would need to do this episode.
It's Francis.
No.
Francis is...
No, it's definitely an old guy. But when it occurred to me I needed to do this episode, I was like, I wonder if rowdyrough.net is still there. And it's not. But it was impactful enough for enough people's lives of like the core crew that just searching rowdyrough.net, I found a lot of the people that were the core crew. And I like found places where they were finding each other and they were like, oh my God, you're this person? Like
amazing.
Yeah. It was crazy. So I will say that about a year and a half into it, my high school friend started hanging out more with some of the people on there. Hanging out. And I got like very friend jealous. None of these people were real people. But she went and like visited one of them. And I was like super jealous. Didn't bring me along with her. King Moonraiser overnight one night came back and put my friend on the fan art page. And I didn't make it on there. And I don't think that art, I don't feel defensive about it. It's fucking Powerpuff Girl fan art. I mean, I don't feel like.
I feel offended.
I don't feel like I didn't
out.
deserve it. I'll just say that. I felt like I deserved it as much. Not more, but as much. But then I got super bitter. And I don't know if our friendship was ever the same.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be friends with that person after that.
Yeah.
Hell no. Mm-mm. Also, I question King Moonraiser's standards.
I will say
he just shows back up.
Yeah. Her coloring was better than mine. But she was a real one-trick pony with the way she shaded things. Also, like, around this time, to differentiate myself a little, I redid my avatar Powerpuff form of myself. Like, I changed what it was. And people had a hard time figuring out what the fuck I was doing, trying to reinvent myself. I don't know. My first incarnation of it was, like, a little, like, anime-y girl chopsticks in her hair. And, like, my second version was just, like, literally me in an American Eagle outfit that I wore in real life. As Powerpuff Girls, obviously.
Well, sure, in the style of Powerpuff Girls. Got it.
And I think, I think that reinvention really, like, might have messed with people. She then reinvented herself. She had looked like herself in real life with a big denim bucket hat and denim overall dress. And then she, in real life, was getting into Hot Topic, so then she made herself into, like, kind of like a gothy, more so
Powerpuff Girl.
And that I thought was annoying.
For no reason.
For no reason at all.
Just because
but mostly just
annoying.
that I was jealous that she was becoming friends with internet people.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, does it all right, it is, not to take away from this
None of this is about
stunning
Powerpuff Girls.
experience.
That's why I said you weren't going to learn anything.
I just want to know, no, I have a question,
okay.
though. Because is the Powerpuff Girls like I instantly wanted to compare it to the Charmed ones, but with the Charmed ones, everybody, like, at some point has, like, a friend group where you're like, which Charmed one are you? Did you have that ever with
For
the
sure.
Powerpuff Girls?
And I would equate that also with the Spice Girls. Like, for me, that's
Or the Spice Girls. Yeah. Totally.
For sure. And in hindsight, I find this very difficult to understand about myself. But in both of those, I wanted to be the baby one.
I am so... Do I even know you at all?
You know what? Sailor Moon too. Not that I don't relate to it, but I was the one that was a baby and that had pigtails across every single fandom.
It's so insane to me because that's like exactly what you steer away from the most.
Yeah.
In your associations now, including in burlesque.
Yeah, where I get defensive if people say I'm cute.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
I don't know. I think that maybe I was perceiving those types of characters as being the attractive or like appealing romantically ones.
Sure.
For whatever reason.
I mean, you're not wrong probably for reasons that are upsetting.
And I think and I think that maybe I hit a certain age during puberty when I realized no one saw me that way. And so I think that potentially out of resentment of those who were thought to be cute and girly, it became very important to me to value myself in different ways, since that was going to be a lost cause. Which is a really, really depressing reason for me to say that I started valuing, like, intelligent or complicated characters. But I think at some point it was like, you know what, I'm not going to be the cute one, so therefore I hate the cute one. So therefore I'll be the smart one.
Well, I assumed it was so different. I assumed that you hated that because you got so tired of people saying, because you have very stereotypically cute features.
Yeah, but no one pointed that out to me until I was at an age where I was taking myself seriously. I think that when I was young, it made sense to look cute. Like, and by cute, I mean like a fucking doll person.
Okay,
like
well, I don't mean that, but like, yeah.
And then once I like went to college and people were still saying that, it was like, how don't you talk to me?
That's okay. So that's what I assumed, was that you just like your whole life people were like cute, 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 and then you got sick of it.
No,
but no,
my whole life people were like weird, weird, weird. And then I was I claim power in that, finally.
Yeah,
and then I went to college and
one.
people were like, cute, cute, cute. And I was like, fuck no. Are we doing that? I've already decided I don't like that.
I have decided it. I've intellectually decided that I reject your notion of cute. Yeah.
So I wanted to be Bubbles, which is the blue one with the pigtails, who has a very, very, like, infanty voice acting situation.
And what power? Does she have, like, a power that's, like, a little different than the others?
Yes. So, like I said, their, like, differentiated powers don't really come up that often. It's like a special episode if they do something that doesn't seem canon, and then you very quickly are like, oh, that's canon, I didn't know. That she did that.
Yeah.
She talks to animals. She, at one point, has, like, a shrill, like, supersonic wave screech thing that she can do. Yeah, I think that's it.
Wow.
One episode, weirdly, she needed to get glasses, which was, like, more so, like, a story about how it's okay to get glasses if you're a little kid. But I feel like she had, like, laser beam eyes when she did it, but I don't remember it ever happening any other time, nor did she have glasses any other time.
Like, like, after that, and every episode since then, she had glasses. No, we're not...
No, just
they
that
don't
one.
have a continuity team on the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I think that part of me might have wanted... I think part of that, too, is that when I was younger, I really resented anyone saying my hair was red. Like, I really was like, no, it's blonde. And so, like, I really clung to blonde characters.
Wow. What the hell does that come from?
I don't know. I think it's because my hair is, like, neither red nor blonde. Like, it depends on the day. It depends on how much I've been in the sun. It depends on the lighting. And I think because it wasn't, like, clear-cut red, like auburn red, I was just like, no, it's not that. Like, I'm not that. That is a thing that I don't have a problem with, but it doesn't feel like I am full ginger. So for some reason, I just decided I needed to be blonde. I needed to be categorized as blonde.
Categorized as blonde. Yeah. Wow. These are things that I just see. All I ever had an awareness of in high school was that there were people with good hair, and then there was me. And
I definitely was not ever in my life a person with good hair, with the exception of my senior year of high school, where I was voted best hair in the yearbook, which was a category that had not previously existed. And I was so self-conscious about my hair and teased about my hair so much that I thought it was a huge joke.
Oh my God.
But I think
it's not.
it wasn't
you have
a joke.
Such great hair. No, you have such great hair.
But it
clearly not.
I mean, in the mid 2000s, in the South, my hair was not what hair was supposed to look like. Avalon hair was the only option. Like, it needed to be, like, oily pin straight blonde.
Yeah, but you had the best hair because you weren't that.
Yeah, but it didn't feel like it. Just felt like my hair was like a weird shape that I was trying to force to be straight. That wasn't working at all. It was just big, and the humidity, like, it just was like nothing was working for me. No one ever taught me what a goddamn product was. Someone help me.
I wasn't allowed to sit in the front of classrooms when I was in elementary school.
Because your hair.
And then it was just, so it was down to my, like, butt until I hit the 8th grade. And it
so
was
curly, though.
It's so
Does it
curly,
curl nicely
and I just
when it's long, though?
Nope. No, it curls up and out and in all different directions, and it's super dry, and it's been that way since I was a little kid.
Yeah.
So it grew just up and out. And so then when I was in the 8th grade, I cut all of my hair off to my ears, and I never grew it past there again.
Wow.
Yeah. I
never.
Like, never. I donated it all. Although it was so thick that they donated as much as they could, and then they gave me a whole other ponytail. They were like, all right, here, we can't do anything else with this. We have enough for the donation. Here's your 3rd ponytail. I kept it for a weird amount of time.
I still have one of mine that I meant to donate, and then I just, like, forgot. And then I would lose it and find it and lose it and find it. I think it's still, like, around.
Good.
Yeah, my hair had gotten way too long and, like, kind of unhealthy. Like, it needed a trim before we moved out here. And, like, right before we drove out here, I chopped it off. I still have that ponytail somewhere. Which is, it's a creepy thing to find accidentally.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
Yeah. I don't want it.
Terrified.
I'm not saving it on purpose. But now it's like, I'm not going to donate it. Like, what do I do with it?
But it's such a cool thing to have. It's such a weird thing to have. That, like, you got to keep it forever now.
No.
We're like, and here's my ponytail from when I was 13.
I definitely need to get rid of it. It's just that throwing it away just doesn't feel right.
I just want you to give that to your grandchild someday.
Oh, God.
Like, on their 18th birthday, and just be like, here you go.
That's terrifying.
Like, slide them over a box and be like, happy birthday.
Ew.
They just open.
No, I'm not going to be like that. I don't know what I'm going to be like, but not that. I'm not going to be sliding boxes if that's what you're suggesting.
That's what my new goal is to hand my grandchild a box of my own hair.
Ugh. Just start collecting all of the hair you cut off starting now.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, that's definitely fine. Not bad. So Powerpuff Girls, also really awesome because so much merch. Really accessible merch.
Oh, yeah. Claire's loved it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, and I think I was a sucker for some merch at that time. That was definitely one of the downsides to Sailor Moon, so it was really nice to just, like, be able to go to the store and get, like, Bubbles comforter and, like, Bubbles
Oh, right, because it would
and,
be, like, everybody everywhere here.
Yeah.
It was all over the place.
Exactly. Yeah. So lots of stuffed animals, for sure. There's a villain that I'm needing to, like... I don't know if it was progressive or problematic.
I have a great feeling about this already.
There was probably like the most genderqueer thing I'd ever seen as a child. But villain, right? So that's a problem. But it was like if Frankenfurter from Rocky Horror was like also the devil in terms of being like red and like cloven hooved. But it was like that level of like weirdly sexual. And then also it had lobster hands.
What?
But the villain's name was him, but no one ever gave him any pronouns. He was always capital H him. And it's like his attire was fairly feminine. He was wearing makeup. And his voice, like the voice actor, if I remember correctly, was literally like a woman's voice and a man's voice, like being played in harmony for everything he said.
What? I'm sorry. What? Are you kidding?
Yeah, it was really surreal. And like I really want it to be like cool and progressive, but I like am worried about it. But one of my troop members in the fucking Queer Icons show we did the other month did him. And I was like, good, can this be something I'm allowed to like? Like, I'm afraid. I need to maybe rewatch it. You know, him being a villain is a thing, but it was just always like him as a character was never disrespected, or like I don't remember it ever being implied that him was weird, but like him was fucking not something that I was used to seeing as a child.
Right.
And he was always
which
like,
is huge.
Him was always like slithering around people and like whispering really close to them and like draping on people. It was very, very odd.
Yeah, yeah. But, like, I can like picture it a little bit. Mm-hmm. It feels like something that's like coded.
Yeah.
A little bit almost.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm a little bit concerned about him because I'd really like to be able to be excited about him. But yeah, and then Mojo Jojo is the other, like, probably biggest villain. There are a couple of other recurring
That's the
ones.
one I have, like, some, like, image recognition with.
Yeah. It's like a little monkey
'Cause Hot Topic.
with, like, shoulder pads and a cape. Like a villain cape. And, like, its head is like a giant brain in a jar. And in the story, in one episode, you find out that he was a monkey in Professor Utonium's lab. And during that same experiment, the chemical X got on him, which made him super smart. But Professor Utonium was so enamored with, like, these girls that he was now raising, like, these little girls, that he just, like, stopped giving a fuck about the monkey. And the monkey is resentful of that.
Well, yeah, wouldn't you be? God.
And one of the major, like, one of the biggest episodes, even though it was just, like, one episode, Mojo Jojo decides that he wants to be a father, and he replicates the experiment with Snips and Snails and Puppy Dog Tails and makes the Rowdy Rough Boys, who are, like, analogous for all three of them, and they win against the Powerpuff Girls, and the Powerpuff Girls have to, like, really strategize how to take them down eventually. If I remember correctly, it's by kissing them, which I don't love.
Oh, yeah.
But they were...
All right.
But, like, that was that one episode with those characters. Like, they were a really, really massive part of the canon. Obviously inspiring that stupid website I was on in name. And, yeah, they eventually brought them back for, like, a late season episode. But I think I wasn't watching it anymore by then.
So Professor
Utonium.
is like a Dr. Frankenstein kind of character. And he's favored one of his creations over another, and they become the villain. That's pretty complex.
Yeah.
Like, for a kid's TV show. I mean, I don't know how the delivery is, but that's a pretty complex, like, sentiment. That same plot was, Aunt Penny Dreadful.
Right. Yeah. Like, I think that there was really meat to it. But what's so weird is, like, even, so nowadays with our standards of cartoons, like, maybe defying expectations or having a lot of layers as being mature and also appealing to little kids, I think tend to be sort of more, like, long scripted. But Powerpuff Girls were 10-minute episodes. So, like, all of that was 10 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was 2.5 hours and, like, commercial breaks and stuff. So, like, they were all 10 to 12 minutes,
So they just got straight to the point, is what...
I guess so.
It was just like,
It seemed normal at the time, but in hindsight, that seems way too rushed. I mean, sometimes there would be a special two-part episode, but 2 parts would even just still be half an hour.
Not even. It's 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I think that when you're a kid, your attention span, even when you're a teenager, is just, like, so short. So a 10-minute little blurb is like... I mean, people tend to turn off YouTube videos that are longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So...
for sure.
I don't think it's that far-fetched.
Yeah.
That you'd be able to tell a little story, in that amount of time.
They were very successfully punny. I didn't give a fuck at the time, but I remember in hindsight that they were, like, up for, like, a lot of Emmys, like, very often. Like, I think that the writing was actually good, probably. Again, I have not revisited it, but...
Well, I mean, you kind of have to now.
But how much,
Well, I mean, if all the episodes are only 10 minutes, how long could it be? You could probably binge the entire show in a weekend.
That is very fair, yeah. I do know that the movie came out, like, too late.
There was a movie?
There was, like, an in-theaters movie, and I went with my friend, but it was, like, it was past the real, like, peak of its popularity. It's like it's almost like they started making the movie at the peak of its popularity, and then it took, like, 1.5 years to come out. So it was like okay, but it's fine. And I know they rebooted it, like, at some point in the last 5 years, but I never saw any of that. Or not rebooted, released a new season or something. I don't know.
Wow. So it's, like, still, like, there's still Powerpuff Girl.
Well, I think they released another season a couple of years ago, but it was just, like, 1 season. Like, I think it's not still happening. I feel like they're going to just keep doing that every 5 years, though, like, for the next 50 years.
Yeah, just refresh and make sure you still have that content. So now, in your adult Avalon years, which one are you?
So it's hard, because I think that I hit a point where I realized, you know what, I should be the redhead one. Because she's a little bit stuck up, and she's smart, like, kind of no nonsense, but I don't think that, and she's, like, a little bit bossy, so probably that one. But yeah, I guess probably that one. She's just, like, a little bit not, like, funny, though.
Maybe her sense of humor, maybe you need to rewatch it. Maybe her sense of humor is just different because she's the smart one.
Yeah, that's very possible. They definitely painted her as kind of a pain in the ass also. Like, kind of to the other 2 girls, like, a little bit, like, which is not, I'm not making a good argument for how it's not me. But, like, I'm just making an argument for how I might be reluctant to admit that it's me.
That's fair.
I'm definitely not the tomboy one, even though I think in hindsight, she's the best one.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I got into an argument with some goddamn stranger online maybe last year about how...
Oh, my God.
All 3 of them are representing different types of queerness and how it's really important to me that it's not just the tomboy one that's queer, but they're all queer icons, because it just feels like that's the case.
Oh, totally. Well, that makes sense, like, instantly.
Yeah. Like, first of all, the lesbian one doesn't
Also,
have to be the tomboy
who
one.
fought you on that?
You know, I think it was somebody who was just like, why do we have to assign sexuality to, like, their children? It's like, I'm sorry, but I need you to know that queer culture and queer icons, like, go beyond sexualizing. There are a lot of aspects that make something a queer icon.
And
Queerness
kids
is
are
not
queer.
about who they're having sex
Like,
with. Yeah.
Yes,
Queerness is about the fact that they are different from everyone around them. Queerness is about the fact that they are way more special and way cooler than everyone around them in their small town. Queerness is about the fact that they are misunderstood, and also about how fucking fabulous they are and how well they coordinate.
Yes.
Like, all of
with
these
each
things.
other.
Yes.
And
also
their
about their, like, very special bond and community that does not have any kind of, like, analogous characteristics in any of the other kids in the town they're with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I do actually remember this now. Yeah. I literally remember this fight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, no, I'm not trying to say that they just have sex with girls. I'm just trying to say they're all queer icons.
Yes. I support this 100%.
One of them is butch, but still, they're all queer icons. And one of them is
What's
into
the third
age
one?
play. And that's fine.
Or will be.
Or will be. Well, yeah.
Will be.
Yeah.
Wait. I suddenly got concerned.
What?
Do they age, or are they stuck this way? Because he wanted to create perfect, like, little girls.
I'm not really clear on his
motivations. Did he want to, like, create little girls, like, to be that way forever? Or did he, like, make some normal children with superpowers?
I mean, the quote is that he was trying to create perfect little girls.
The quote?
The quote from the intro is that he was creating perfect little girls.
Okay.
Which is it's really hard to go ahead and give that one a pass. But I think that what I would argue from that close reading is that creating a perfect little girl doesn't mean that perfect little girl wouldn't follow the same trajectory as other little girls, just also perfect.
Right, and perfect by what standard?
Francis.
I didn't know it was seeable on the camera. I walked to the side. It's my house.
Just give a warning.
I've seen...
You did nothing
I just
wrong.
Don't understand.
It was just funny.
He did nothing wrong. I just don't understand. I've seen so much more of that person.
I know.
Like, in so much bolder... like, statements, and, like, to see him scurry while he's still covered in all the places that it counts.
Yeah.
Like,
were we hanging out? Or we were just talking about hanging out online the other day. And I was just like, oh, Francis, just a heads up, because you're naked right now. Like, just, like, don't come into new rooms naked, because I might be Skyping. And he was like, put on pants, and he was like, should I put on a shirt? I'm like, no. He's like, I'll put on a shirt, too. Diana doesn't need to see me without a shirt on. And I was just like, so, again.
Right, like, does it, I feel like,
it's like
does he think I'm, like, I'm aging out of the Francis experience?
I don't know. I think it's the context.
Or is he getting... Is it just maybe that, like, we're with Dominic today, and, like, you know, like Francis is less here right now?
That's why we can't figure out the alignment, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
You can't have one alignment for two people.
No. That's why he's true neutral.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway,
that was really funny.
Yeah.
So, please, continue.
Oh, I don't remember. I think I was done.
You might have been done. But we were just talking about the...
so
them aging.
I would say that scientifically creating a perfect little girl does not preclude that girl from growing up.
Right. I would hope. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if there's like a flash forward episode where you see them kind of as grown-ups. I don't think so. I think there's episodes where they dress up like grown-ups as part of, you know, like solving a problem, but
sure. So when do you think the last time you really were invested in the Powerpuff Girls was? Like, when did it taper off?
I think that, you know what it was? When my sophomore year of high school, I had to move And then I was gone for like 6 months. And then I moved back. And I think that just like hit reset.
So it was like new person,
Kind
new
of.
hobbies,
Like,
new interests. Yeah.
The person I had been friends with, that I was into the Powerpuff Girls with, who I would say had been my closest friend when I left, like, really didn't keep in touch with me while I was gone. But another girl from my school did. And when I came back, like, she and I were closer. And also when I came back, there were, like, a new girl had come to the school who I ended up eventually getting, like, super close to. And it just, like, the interest didn't carry over.
Well, did an interest replace it, do you feel like?
Well, I'd say the people that I became friends with when I got back, the interest that replaced it was being a hipster.
Okay. Yeah. That's its own thing. It takes a lot.
It was very much
it's like a
thing.
lot of
There was
energy,
a lot more like what replaced it was like being as pretentious as possible and getting like really fluent in Wes Anderson references
and like
and,
records,
like, buying records. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what happened. And like, to be fair, just like a lot of literary things. Like, I think it wasn't like a bad thing necessarily. It definitely contributed to. I equate like when I was into the Powerpuff Girls with sort of like the last time, not that I felt like a kid, but the last time that like I didn't have negative self-awareness. Like, I felt like it was really okay to be kind of ridiculous and kind of silly and like nerdy and not feel like really self-conscious and like worried about that perception. So yeah, and then when all the hipstery stuff started happening, that's when like I developed body image issues and like feeling really shy, and like that's also when people started becoming like, I don't know, like sexually maturing, and I was a year younger than everyone and I wasn't, and I felt like it was weird in some way, and
yeah, absolutely.
And also like maybe I was gay. so that was like that moment for me.
That's
just
a lot
of things happened.
That's a
and
lot
I don't
of
think
things.
It was because of the Powerpuff Girls, but
we could say that they were influential.
Yeah, I think
if
I had not moved, I think that I might have been a much bigger dork. But I might have been. It might not have taken me so long to like be okay with who I was. Like, I wouldn't have had to circle back around to it. I think I would have just continued to be a big dork.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, see, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Is I didn't stop being a big dork until like college, when I like got my anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
And then it like weirdly circled back to like all of the things that I hated. Like, I was like, all the things that I didn't care about in high school, and like all of the behaviors that people made fun of me for, and I was like, whatever.
Exactly.
And then or like, you know, it felt bad when people made fun of me, but I personally didn't feel like I needed to change based on that.
Yeah,
but
it was weird. And I think that even when I moved, I might not have had the internet for a few months. Might have been part of it. So like, I did not have any community. I moved from a high school of like 29 people in my grade to a high school of like 900 people in my grade. And I just had no idea how to meet people. I didn't know anybody. There were like cliques for the first time, because when you have 29 people, it's like, it's not so clicky. Like, you know, like maybe you find people who listen to similar music, but that's it. But like, it had like fucking TV show cliques, because there are just so many, you know, and you would see somebody one day in a hallway and literally never see them again. And I just like totally developed social anxiety, I think, just from being so fucking overwhelmed for how to navigate that.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. That should have been the place where nerdiness flourished for me, but like, I just didn't know how to find people.
I think it would have if that's where you had been the whole time. Yeah. Because that's what my whole school like environment was like in Sachem, with that like 1,300 kids in my graduating class. Like, when you're in that, it actually, like, when you're in that the whole time, there are cliques, but there's no like distinct popular person. Yeah. Because like there was like the popular nerds, and there were the popular jocks, and like there were the popular goth kids, and like, you know, it was just like every clique had its own little hierarchy and its own pocket community. And you just found whatever yours was.
I remember having to vote in homeroom for like homecoming court while I was there and being like, how would you even know who these people are?
I literally didn't know who my prom queen was.
I've never seen these people in my life.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Our yearbook had 20 of those, like, most likely to nominations. It was like 20 different sections of them, just to give like any sort of representation to the to the class. And each group had like 6 people.
All right. I think
it
in
was like
hindsight,
best eyes.
Like right when I finally left, I started making like a couple of friends, and they were all lesbians. And I think that if I could have stayed there for a couple more months, it might have actually ended up being like a really important opportunity for me in figuring out who I was.
To get involved at the ground floor of the pyramid scheme of high school lesbianism.
I think that just like it had literally not been an option before then. Like I had not met anyone who was out.
Yeah.
Certainly not who was out who was my age, ever. And I think that people like who were both out and like living their lives out and like figuring out who they were as like fucking 10th graders out, like was kind of maybe amazing to be able to be exposed to, so that I wasn't like, in college still thinking that bisexuality was a fallacy. Like,
I but the thing is, I'll tell you, I was part of that kind of a group in high school too. I was a part of a group of like a lot of young people who were out, and I still didn't accept it till late into college for myself. Like it could just be, it's just sometimes it's just different people. I know it's all person to person. But all right, so I'm sorry. Wait, the Powerpuff Girls.
Yes.
So
this is what we do.
Right. Yeah. I just want to get in. All right, I don't feel comfortable playing spoon, fork, knife, or fuck, marry, kill.
No,
we can't do it.
No, I think that we could do it with some of the bad guys if you knew them.
But I don't.
But you don't.
So instead, I'm going to say influential childhood shows.
Oh.
What would you say are your top 3? Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, and Powerpuff Girls?
No, I wouldn't have Dragon Ball Z in there. I would say Sailor Moon. Do they have to be cartoon?
You know what?
Or do they have to be nerdy?
Let's say yes.
Oh.
No, just shows that were super influential to you.
Listen, I'm just gonna do whatever I want. I'm gonna say top 3, hands down, most influential shows for me were Sailor Moon, Powerpuff Girls, and Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay, great. So you get to keep 2 of them and destroy one from the face of the earth that never existed. Which one do you choose?
I'm gonna destroy Powerpuff Girls.
Wow.
I am, because I think by destroying the other 2, I would negatively impact more people than I would with Powerpuff Girls.
That is so annoyingly humanitarian of you, and I've never heard you say something that noble, and
That's bullshit. I'm so noble. And I also think that the significance of Powerpuff Girls for me was like more the sort of secondary impacts, which were getting like weirdly into art and then having like exposure to online community for the first time, and how it impacted my like real life relationships, and maybe impacted at the time probably impacted some of the media that I was consuming. Like there's a famous Powerpuff Girls episode that's like very Beatles referential, and I think it probably caused me to like get really into listening to the Beatles for a little while. So I think that like all of those impacts that I would lose in any kind of like formative influence it had on me are very secondary.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Okay.
But that being said, I still got way too into it. So like one thing about the Powerpuff Girls is that no matter what direction they're facing in, whether it's like front or like 3/4 angle of their face or profile, the circle is always the same dimensions.
Oh my God, I hate that. But that's
even
like
though it's not a perfect
really,
circle, it's an oval.
Yeah.
But that oval
Yeah.
like stays the same no matter what.
They're like egg shaped, yeah.
Yeah. So like my friend and I would always have Microsoft Paint printed pieces of paper that just had like dozens of circles of different size like on them. So like at any given time we would have a circle sheet. It was the circle sheet, and we could draw any kind of Powerpuff Girl in any situation because we had a perfect circle we could trace as like the starter, the like springboard for it.
Yeah.
So like just like this visual of like black pixelated circles on a white piece of printer paper like slipped in the front of my binder is like such a core part of Powerpuff Girl fandom for me.
That is so fascinating because you just reminded me that I used to do that.
Yeah.
With Hello Kitty and the Hello Kitty family.
Oh.
That was my introduction to drawing anything. Was I was obsessed with drawing Hello Kitty and Keroppi over and over again, forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
That's
and I
awesome.
had little ovals pre-printed or pre-drawn that I could always like sketch them from.
Exactly. Yeah. That's pretty funny.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot that was even a thing that I cared about at any point in my life.
I think that eventually I stopped using circle sheets, but not for a long time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, I could lose Powerpuff Girls, and all I would lose really was like those kinds of memories and like some really like bizarre, surreal ideas of being like actually friends with people on this forum that I don't know their real names.
Sure, but we're gonna find them.
Oh wow! If any of our listeners were on rowdyruff.net, I will throw up.
And if any of our listeners are King whatever,
King Moonracer is definitely not one of our listeners.
If any of you are King Moonracer, we need you to answer for your crimes.
I just want to know what rowdyruff.net, like the years before his disappearance, like what was that? Like how did people flock to it? What was the beginning like when he was active?
Teach us how to make this podcast famous. Come email us and tell us what you did.
I just want to understand because I always missed out on like the founding. There were so few people there who had been there from the beginning. And I just wanted to know how it came together and like where the fuck this guy went. Oh, he got married. That's what it was.
Oh my God.
The King Moonracer is gone fan art picture, I think, was his little Powerpuff Girl character at a wedding. For like years. Yeah.
Maybe after he got married, it wasn't as easy to log on to a forum full of preteens and moderate and judge their fan art of themselves.
Wow. I'm gonna have I just typed it in and there's a Facebook group. Oh my God.
This is better than
there's a Facebook group
any
that's
crime
like
show.
If you remember rowdyruff.net, and it's like it's like some of the people are on it. It's not been active since 2016 though.
Well, that doesn't mean a goddamn thing. Like it right now. And then when we publish this episode, you're going to post it to there, and we're going to find those people, and we're going to find out what happened to King What's-His-Face.
I remember
but that's what's going to happen.
It's Crystal Phoenix. Crystal Phoenix was the person on the forum who made the video game. He's clearly they're clearly the person who made this Facebook page, and they uploaded all of their fan art that had been on the fan art page.
Good.
And I remember
like it right
these
now.
pictures.
We are going to find all of these people, and we're going to get the band back together, is what's going to happen.
Oh my God.
Avalon is literally having a religious experience.
I mean, it's not, it's that it's so surreal. It's that like the time portal of these fan art images is so surreal to me.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if any of these were my character, but that's fine. I don't think I was ever actually popular on the site.
Well, they're going to learn when they realize that you have a semi-popular
No, they are
podcast
not.
about I'm telling you, Avalon, we're going to make this happen.
I tell you what, so I'm scrolling and it's fine. I know I'm not going to see anyone who drew me, and that's fine. But if I see someone who drew that girl I went to high school with that made it onto this Facebook page, I will scream.
Will you recognize it right away if you saw that?
Absolutely, I will. And I know we're wrapping up this podcast, but I just need to scroll to the bottom so that it can be recorded if I have to deal with this right now.
Okay, so while Avalon is scrolling, I'm gonna just talk us through the outro while you process your feelings on this. So, some of the places that you can find Femsplained, aside from where you're listening to Femsplained, you can interact with us on Twitter at FemsplainedCast. You can interact with us on Instagram at Femsplained Podcast. We are on YouTube at Femsplained Podcast, and we are on Twitch as an affiliate at Femsplained. And on Twitch, we have our Neverland game alternating Tuesday nights. We have lots of picks, so if you want to tell us what video games you want us to play, you can let us know. And you can, of course, find my new DM for hire and commissions page, which is Adventurers Wanted. The URL is facebook.com/DianaGM for hire, and you'll find me there. And let's see, those are all the places you can find us to interact. You can email us, and you can also listen to us wherever podcasts are podcasts. Apparently, iTunes is gonna delete itself from the face of the earth sometime soon.
Wait, I don't know about that.
Oh yeah, iTunes is gonna cancel iTunes or whatever at some point.
What does that mean?
They're just getting rid of it. And I assume we'll be introducing some sort of streaming service because they're the only ones somehow that don't have one.
Oh. They have Apple Music.
But it's not, nobody's using it.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, so they're going to get rid of iTunes, and they're going to lean into that, I'm sure. But for right now, we're still there and on Spotify, Google Play, we're on Stitcher, we're on Podbean, we're on all of them. And Avalon, you look satisfied and not angry, so
all
you're
right.
okay?
So I'm seeing every piece of fan art from the core people. She is not on there. And more importantly, core people's art of her is not on there.
Good.
So there's full erasure of her being more accepted than me, even though I was on there for longer, which is so petty, but I was about to scream.
Good.
So we've all avoided a crisis here today.
Everything is okay. Everybody calm down.
I'm sorry, I'm scrolling, just for context, I'm scrolling back through a second time.
Okay. So while she does that, please email us. Was Powerpuff Girls important to you at all? Do you have fan art? Are you one of the people who were a part of this crazy, whatever this is that is happening right now? If so, please, for the love of God, you have to message us. You have to tag us on Twitter. You have to, whatever you have to do, just tell us. And if you are king,
Moonracer.
Whatever, king, whatever. If you are him, we need to know, 1, did your marriage work out? 2, are you still a part of fandoms? Are you still moderating groups of young teenagers? Can you just answer a couple of questions for us? We just need you to have a seat. And otherwise, that's all
it's all right.
have to say.
Okay. We're clear.
It's okay. We're clear.
But I did join
good.
the group.
Thank God. Good. And Avalon?
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Avalon, what are you doing after this?
I don't know, but I am hyped.
Good.
Oh my God. gotta. I don't know. I think I have to prepare for a meeting tomorrow.
Oh, good. Okay, great.
Oh, that bitch! If she joins this website. Oh, I liked the website as Francis. Go ahead and unlike that.
You know what? Is he? No. Let him have it.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Bye, listeners.
Bye.
Bye.